Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name is Mike Amos. His is Bill Rice Jr. as we start a Thursday. Thank goodness it's Thursday because tomorrow is Friday, of course. Of course, a lot going on, not only locally, but our nation is going to be put into a situation of how far will we go?
That's well put.
Then you want to say, how far will our military go?
I hope they don't go too far, but everybody's saying that the war is on, the invasion is on in the Ukraine. Gas prices are up, oil, natural gas prices are up, gold prices are up, silver prices are up. So it's a lot of nervousness in the world on what's happening in the Ukraine, which is right between Russia and Poland.
Now, to my knowledge, I was watching last night. They hadn't fired a shot yet, but they were already halfway across the country. You know.
I haven't followed it as closely as I should probably, but Ukraine used to be a part of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So they were part of the Soviet Union for 50 years. And then when the Soviet Union broke up, they became their own country. And I just gather that there's some parts of the Ukraine that want to be a part of Russia or don't mind being a part of Russia, and maybe there's some that don't. And Crimea, which is the lower part of Ukraine, seems to be real important because that's near a body of water, the Baltic Sea or something, and
it's got some kind of...
Well, you need to have, you don't want to be landlocked. You want to have some coast and ports and way to get to ships. But Russia already, the Crimea kind of identifies with Russia, and I think they wanted to be a part of Russia. But my take is that Russia really wants just a couple of parts of the Ukraine that they think should be a part of Russia already. And I think that these natural gas pipelines that you hear a lot about must figure heavily into this. Now, I don't think America's national interests I don't think we're threatened by what happens in the Ukraine. I mean, the Ukraine was a part of the Soviet Union for 50 years, and we didn't go to war with the Soviet Union because of that. But all of that said, is we already had super high inflation and turbulence and fear in the world, and this is just adding to it, right?
Yeah, no question about it. It remains to be seen, exactly what's going to happen, and I got a feeling though, the more power they get by gaining more ground, and I think they're going to not only be that they're going to extend this thing even further.
Well,
the United States is, if their sanctions are not strong enough to hold them back, no telling how far they could go will go.
Here's what the Russia would say. If you look at a map of where all the NATO bases are and U.S. troops, it surrounds Russia. I think Russia wants a buffer. That they're tired of people being encircled by NATO and all these NATO countries, and they're pushing back and trying to get some breathing room between Russia proper and all these military bases that used to be a part of Warsaw, and now they're a part of NATO.
Of course, each day is another day, and I'm yet to really see, or anybody I reckon out there cannot see whether or not any of the sanctions are working or anything like that.
Yeah, sanctions.
But if some people say though that the Russian emperor is making a bad mistake.
Well, it might be. Yeah,
and hopefully that's the case, that he's making a bad mistake and we're not making.
I'll make a point. That I guess is 20% of the country might agree with me here that America invaded Iraq and was in that country for 10 or 15 years. It was a war, same with Afghanistan. And World War III did not start. Russia and China did not say, "Oh, America, you have invaded another country. We're going to start a war with you." So now you could turn around and say, "Well, the Soviet Union has invaded their neighbor, and we are going to start World War III."
Mike Amos, are you on the line?
Yeah, I was shocked to see that score out of Montgomery yesterday, but I mean, congratulations to Carroll. I guess they really did have a player come back that made the difference. You beat a team by 20 twice in the regular season, but it looked like Carroll, from what I read, led throughout.
Yeah, they've got a real good team, and of course so does Charles Henderson. It was a great game. It was Charles Henderson had to fight his way back most of the game.
They did
and
fight back.
Led it a few times late.
Time they did.
Did Carroll try to hold the ball then, or did
a little bit? They were well coached. They got in that what you call that North Carolina box that made famous by North Carolina. And they got in that for a little ways, and then they would set it up on the other side of the court. I thought they were well coached, and they did what they could win.
They have a big guy, I guess, that could contain the Knox kid, the Charles Henderson kid, the 6'7", 6'8" kid.
Not really. I mean, he was about 6'2", 6'3". The kid was so good. I mean, they had three kids that could shoot the three, and they did. I don't know how many threes they got. But
they were Ozark. Congratulations!
Yeah.
They played a great game. They hit a lot of three-pointers, so they shot well. Charles Henderson did not shoot in the first half. Charles Henderson shot a lot of three-point shots, and they weren't falling.
Yeah.
I think that's what Ozark wanted. Is we're going to take our chances. If you hit them, you beat us. But Charles Henderson didn't hit them. In the second half, Coach Faison and Charles Henderson made a obvious adjustment to me, Mike, because they took it to the hoop.
Yeah, they did.
They quit taking those long three-point shots, and they came back.
Yeah.
But Ozark was better than I'd been led to believe. I should have known they were good because their record's real good, and they have one player, that number 23. We thought Will told us that he'd been out hurt, but then some other fans at the game that had seen Charles Henderson play Carroll twice said, no, they had the same players they've always had. Regardless, they had the best player. The best player on the court.
Shocking to hear, though. I mean, 20-point difference. I mean, you would think at best they'd maybe be a 10 to 5 point difference, but man, that is a lot of points.
You could tell, but at the end that Carroll was extremely excited about upsetting Charles Henderson. Of course, Charles Henderson, I'm telling you, played their hearts out and gave it their all. But
Charles Henderson lost by 3.
It was a better Carroll High Ozark team that they played yesterday.
Charles Henderson took a lead.
You think if they play 10 times, Charles Henderson win 7 or 8 of them?
Or maybe half of them. I'd say they win half of them.
Yeah, but how can you say half of them when the Charles Henderson beat them by 20 twice?
I know it.
Ozark's good. I would say they'd win 7 or so.
Evidently, they were a much better team with this guy that had been out because they had 3 guys that could shoot the three well.
One player signed with UNA. It's not like UNA is a basketball powerhouse.
Yeah, but they are a Division 1A basketball program.
If you're going to UNA, though, I mean, it seems like Troy would have maybe offered it.
Yeah, I know.
This guy I'm talking about, number 23, I wish I remembered his name. No, Bakken is his last name. I'd say he looks about 6'3". He wears Michael Jordan's number, and he made, he hit 1 or 2 3-pointers, but he could take it to the hoop, and he made some spin moves and super quick and reverse layups. He was the best player on the floor.
Unfortunately, I think this is like a real senior laden Charles Henderson team too. So this was probably their best shot for a while to get to the Final Four.
Yeah. Now they got plenty of young players. I mean, they lose some key players, but I think when they're a deep team, I think Charles Henderson will be right back there next year.
Only lose the guard, the two guards in the center.
Yeah, let me tell you this, and I was very impressed with this kid. Sports. His last name is Sports, and he is really a fine player for Charles Henderson. He played well in a losing.
He's not very tall, though, is he?
No, he's not. But he'll take it. But he can take it to the hole. I'll tell you that.
He was competitive, and
he kept him
number
in the
3.
game.
Yeah, Boyd, that's the football player, is a guard. He's a sophomore. Charles Henderson is impressive, buddy. It's the first time I'd seen them all year. They're athletic. They can run. They can jump. They look like they can go about 8 or 9 deep.
Yeah. And I can understand.
Charles Henderson fell behind by about 14 points, I think, in the first quarter or half. And then they got it down to, I think, 7. Right before the half. They hit the last bucket of the half to get it from 9 to 7. And then they fought back and took the lead. I remember it was 53 to 52. I said, "Whew, we might pull this out." And then we hit a little bad stretch, and Ozark hit some of these key threes, and they pushed it back out to 7 or 8 with like 3 or 4 minutes left. And Charles Henderson still got it down to 1 point, I think, and they had to foul Ozark with like 8 seconds left. And that number 23 hit both free throws to put them up by 3. And Charles Henderson had a 3-pointer at the buzzer that didn't go in. So.
Yeah. It was a tough one to lose.
Coach Denisa Jones, I was shocked when I saw that score. They held Talladega to 29 points. I mean,
but it was not good basketball on either side.
I know, but man, how do you not name the floor after her at least at Charles Henderson? I mean, Coach Jones deserves some kind of, some kind of honor at Charles Henderson High School as a coach. I mean, nobody has done what she's done.
Yeah, this team is really. They don't have any tall girls. I'll tell you what they've got is they've got a point guard, Hobdy.
Yes, sir.
That is
She's a fine player.
That I have never seen a girl in girls basketball that can handle the ball like she can.
I think this is 6 Final Fours in the last 9 years.
Yeah. I'll tell you what she did. She took this Hobney girl and put her on the best player for Talladega. Shut her down, and it was over after that.
Well, Hobdy can. She dribbles it between her legs like nothing. She can go right or left, super fast. She can take it to the hoop. I'm sure she can shoot, and then she gets fouled, and then she can make enough of her foul shot. But it was almost like she was a one-girl team yesterday to me, Mike. I mean,
of course it was.
She was the MVP of the regional.
I saw you and Rice on TV last night watching the Troy game.
I didn't get there till the second half.
If Troy doesn't get Miles back, they will maybe get knocked out the first game they play in the tournament. I mean, their guard play is just too inconsistent. Dean scores 3 points last night. I mean, the Williams kid hit a big 3 late. I was watching it on TV, and then Zay Williams made a couple big shots, even though one of them was a banked-in 3-pointer. But I mean, you get to the line late in the game for 1-and-1. Zay Williams misses. Odigi misses.
Yeah. Odigi.
Finally, a guard.
Did you know Odigi scored on?
Finally, a guard gets up there and makes 2 shots, and they have enough room to win the game. But they gave Texas Arlington every chance to win that game and pulled up.
Odigi didn't score but 5 points last night. That right there stunned me. He's the leading scorer for the Trojans, and he did some things well, but made some good free throws late.
Well, here's what Mike and I did yesterday.
What a slap in the face by South Alabama last night, losing at home as a favorite to Texas State. Game's tied 50-all with less than 40 seconds left, and Texas State comes down and makes a 3, and South Alabama couldn't even get a shot off at the end, and Texas State is your conference champion. So congratulations, Texas State.
Just heard about that. Troy could have tied for the conference championship, and South Alabama had won, and Texas State wins at the last second. So basically,
Texas State's just playing for pride, and Troy's just playing for pride on Friday night. I mean, Texas State can lose the game, and it doesn't matter. They'll still be the number 1 seed and have an NIT bid, too.
Well, I would still think, though, you check our score for us, Mike, that Troy would have a chance to finish second in the conference, which is important for seeding. And Troy can also win 20 games in the regular season, which is a big, big deal in my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, Troy, what they're doing record-wise, I mean, if they win 20 games and then win 2 games in the tournament, that'd be 22 wins. That would double the win total from the season before of 11. So you never see something like that.
Let me tell you this, and I don't think Troy's going to be able to do it, but the 20 wins would be the first time Troy had won 20 games in regular season since in 20 years. It's been 20 years since they've
really?
Yeah, and they won't be able to do it this year. Is that right? Unless
they beat
Yeah,
Texas State.
all they got to do is beat Texas State. But the thing that's still so shocking is they lost to a 3-10 in conference, 8-17 Little Rock team on the 258-9. I mean, that's still one of the most shocking losses you'll see a team have during a season. Little Rock has beaten nobody since they beat Troy.
Yeah, Troy wins that game, and Troy controls their own destiny. So that was a dagger right there, that loss. But I will say this about Troy. I've seen them about 4 times now. Man, it's like pulling teeth sometimes to get them to score, and all these games are tight. That they don't have one score that you can just count on to get 17 or 18 points that you can create on their own. But they play defense as hard as any Troy team I've seen, and they rebound exceptionally well, in my opinion. And that keeps them. That's why they're in any game that they play. I think if they just had 1 or 2 players that could get hot, which sometimes happens. Sometimes 1 or 2 of these guys will go off, but they don't do it consistently. But they're still a really fun team for me to watch because they play so hard. And they seem to have good.
Troy did secure a first-round bye last night.
Okay, that's very important, right there.
Well, I think any
Troy,
game.
Troy won the rebound battle 46-23, and Texas always has got some big, tall guys. That's pretty amazing.
My children love the Disney movie Encanto or Enchanto. It's the last big children's Disney movie. And there's a famous song, their song that's rapidly become famous with children called "We Don't Talk About Bruno." And there's a line in there that says that Bruno's got a 7-foot tall physique. And so Jack, my son, 6-year-old son, he keeps asking me, "Who's 7 feet tall, Daddy? Are you 7 feet tall?" Or he's trying to get a grasp on. I'm 6'2", and who is 7 foot tall, or how would that go up and touch the roof in our house? And at the basketball game last night, I kept pointing out 2 guys for Texas Arlington. And I said, "Now those 2 guys are about 7 feet tall."
Yeah.
One of them was 6'11" and one of them was 6'9".
Troy did have 22 turnovers in one. You don't see that much.
Yeah, you're right. You don't.
Best game of the year from Zay Williams, though, out of Parker of Birmingham, which is the legendary basketball program. He had 15 points. He hadn't scored in double digits in a long time.
Boy, he looks like a basketball player. Troy has some guys that. And then
was there 3,346 fans? That's what they're claiming.
I don't know. It didn't look like to me that had that many. But in that big arena,
eventually they file in late, and then I think by the end of the game it was a respectable crowd. I wish that.
Yeah, Troy was led by both of the Williams. Desmond Williams out of Montgomery had 11. Zay Williams out of Birmingham had 15. Then after that, it was really just balanced scoring. Stampley had 5. Duke Dean, which was shockingly, only had 4. Hunter had 6. Odigi had 6. Spud Eugene had 5. Troy only scores 59 points, but still wins.
Well, still a huge game. And also that we need to point out the game Friday night is at 8 o'clock, and it's going to be on ESPN2. I can't remember many times that Troy basketball has been on ESPN2. So we need
to... that's going to be great exposure for sure. I guess you guys ought to be glad y'all didn't make the trip to Plainsman Park. I tell you what, we've been beaten by Auburn before. I don't know if we've been beaten a long time by 13-1.
I know it.
Bad performance yesterday.
I know it. And, Coach Schuyler... can't be pleased with that. They had only one hit going into the last 2 innings. They finally ended up with 5 hits on the day. Auburn really had one big inning where a guy hit a grand slam home run, and they scored 6 runs in I want to say in the second inning or something like that, and so it was over before the game.
Ooh, we almost
But
went
they
to that.
Troy pitching, believe it or not, of course, you can say anyhow, allowed only 2 more runs after that big second inning.
Yeah, I need to reach out to the Shares. Auburn's got a great player with the last name.
The Shara, yeah.
I wonder if that's one of their family from the Bessemer, Birmingham area.
Well, for years, I can remember at UAB they had the Share that was a real good player for about 4 years there.
Yeah, looks like Troy pitched a lot of guys. They pitched Ron Patties, Grayson Stewart, Noah Janney, Kyle Gamble, Keaton Fuller, and Judson Hershiser, or Hershizer's nephew, all time for Troy.
Yeah.
They actually combined for 14 strikeouts. God, how do you combine?
Did they really?
And get beat 13-1.
Wait a minute. You mean Troy pitching struck out 14 Auburn batters and they get beat 13 to 1?
13-1.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to that Auburn coach and ask him what happened.
Sonny DeShera. That's on a 3-run homer. So we need to try to find out if he's related to Mickey and the rest of the Shares in Troy.
It's not a real common last name, so it could be. Well, so recapping, the Troy baseball team gets blown out by Auburn. The Charles Simpson girls win a good game over Talladega to go back to the Final Four. The boys lose a heartbreaker to Carroll of Ozark. Congratulations to Ozark. Troy University didn't blow out this team from Texas Arlington, but they got a win. That's all that matters.
You're exactly right. I've been reading, and excuse me for reading while everybody else is talking, but a good picture of Carroll High, star player in the tournament, and listen to this. They had played twice before. Charles Simpson won 77-54. That's 23 points, and 77-56.
Yeah, we'd already brought that up.
I know it. I know that. But again, how do you get prepared for a team that you won by 20 twice, but this was a good Carroll team.
Let's just say this: it don't matter. They won it when it.
It don't matter. You're exactly right.
When it was to go play for it all, they won the game they needed to win.
G.W. Long went up there and lost twice to Lynette, boys and girls. So Lynette sends 2 teams to the Final Four. Of course, I tell you, Lynette is a factory, man. They're good in everything they do, and that was my buddy.
How can Charles Henderson convince the Cross kid to come play for them next year?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what.
Hey, that's a fault.
Yeah.
I guess they'll be playing public school schedule next year too, though. So
that's right, exactly.
Well, he's got all these friends at Pike Liberal Arts and done great. So I would doubt that.
You're going to see Pike Liberal Arts play a much tougher schedule every time they go out in every sport.
Yeah, but they can only play who they can play. I mean, they beat who they had to beat. I mean, it's one of those things. People can complain about how strength of some of these programs are, and some of them are not very good at all. But you can only beat who you can play. Obviously, they're pretty good. They came down and won. I think almost won a tournament down here in Florida.
Yeah.
The big thing for me though in high school basketball, I don't know, what y'all think of it. But I just feel like you got to have a shot clock eventually. I don't enjoy the high school game because of no shot clock.
Yeah.
Well, watching this Charles Simpson boys game, they were both. None of them were really stalling. They were trying to score and running.
If you had really good ball handlers, if you got a 5-point lead in the fourth, you could basically just run it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. What am I saying, Mike? Yes, they won again. Yes, they won. Titletown, USA. Good. The Brantley Bulldogs are heading to the Final Four of high school basketball.
Good.
And
that's crazy. Coach Mitchell, Johnny Mitchell, is the head coach of Highland Home. I think he lives in Brantley.
Well, he used to be the coach at Brantley. You're right.
Yeah, so you'll have Brantley going to the Final Four, and you'll have Highland Home going to the Final Four.
That's going to be quite a kick out of if you live in Brantley, just get ready to watch tournament ball all year long.
In all three sports too.
And congratulations to the Brantley Bulldogs. And they are.
Did they win? Did the score? What did they win?
Well, they. I can get over here and find it for you, but of course there's so many games going on.
So now
right
we got
now.
one in our viewing area. We're pulling for Carroll of Ozark, Enterprise, and Brantley, and Highland Home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, unfortunately for Charles Simpson or Carroll, whoever won that game,
And the Charles
they're
Simpson
gonna be
girls.
in big time trouble having to play Ramsey out of Birmingham.
Yeah, they're playing Ramsey.
You're talking about a private school in downtown Birmingham that can actually recruit.
Is that? I didn't realize they were a private school.
I believe they're private.
Oh, I don't think
They'll play a
so.
public school schedule. I don't know. I'll have to look and see. But I know it's right next to where I went to church, the beautiful St. Mary's on the
Yeah,
Highlands. It's right in
yeah.
the middle of 5 Points in downtown Birmingham. It's an old school.
Yeah.
Now, Mike and I, after the games at Garrett Coliseum, we went and ate at Dirk's Filet and Vine.
Oh
in
boy.
Old Cloverdale. Mike had never eaten there.
Mike,
'Cause they had not really. By the time he retired from the state of Alabama, the Dirks had just opened up.
I'll tell you this.
Right, she been talking it up. Was it good, Dad?
It was really good, Mike. Really good. Well, let's just say this before we got to the end of the line. Both our tickets were over $17, but we got a bunch of food, didn't we, Rice?
Good food. They got a spread that they serve it for you. It's buffet style, but you've got about a choice of about 5 or 6 meats and about 14 vegetables and desserts.
And a good hot peach cobbler. What now?
Kind of like at Nikki's West?
Yeah, sort of like that. Sort of like that.
Well, it's in a store that sells steaks and wine. You could sell them wine. They're one of the biggest wine dealers. They've got a little side building where they sell wine and then fancy beers and casseroles. Yeah. And then you just eat right there in the aisles of they got tables set up right in the aisles of the little market.
Don't you have specialty wines, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I've got but I can only sell in the state of Florida. I can't go into Alabama.
I understand.
Well, we talked to Dirk.
One of those things. I've got the Alice Beach or 38 Wine Festival going on, and we have so many of our winemakers in from Napa, California, and Sonoma, and various parts of California. And actually, I was with a guy yesterday. You would have laughed at the amazing conversations from Tuscany, Italy.
Oh
A guy named
boy!
Lorenzo was in town. He had El Plazzo, Chiantis, and some other red wines and a few whites, and we were doing tasting. So we go to this old Italian restaurant in Destin yesterday called Tuscany, and they just moved to their new location in San Destin. And this older gentleman there, Giuliano, is from Italy as well, and they're speaking Italian back and forth, like giving each other hugs and great conversation. I can't understand the words. What's going on? It's like literally going on for 15 minutes. And then he calls a buddy up on the phone who's like somewhere down in Miami and telling his buddy that he needs to buy some of this wine, how good it is. Next thing I know, this old gentleman, he's 78 years old, this old Italian man, goes back to his kitchen and brings out this amazing seafood pasta dish with like mussels and clams, scallops and snapper, shrimp. I'm talking about it was like the size of a football. And he brought 2 plates of it out. And this happens at 2 o'clock yesterday, and I'd already had lunch. And then I was just like, how can I disrespect this older Italian man that owns this restaurant? So I had to eat again. It was just a crazy, crazy experience.
That tickles me.
We took a little ride around of Old Cloverdale and Montgomery too.
So where Charles Bradshaw lived, beautiful old antebellum home.
Bankhead Avenue near off of Huntington
Yeah,
College.
Richard Calhoun and Brittany Little from Troy have a beautiful house.
And Jay Corley also lives in that area, doesn't he?
Pretty area.
Oh, yeah.
There's some changes though. We went down Fairview, the other part of over there by Huntington College. near where Cat and Harry's used to be, and there's some changes. Like the pizza place that was so popular has moved, and they've torn down one building, and Bud's Bar that used to be there is no longer Bud's Bar.
Tortugas or whatever's going now?
Tomatino's is...
Tomatino's, yeah.
Well, they moved back towards Filet and Vine and the Vintage Year, that part of Cloverdale.
I have people tell me all the time that even living in Birmingham that Tomatino's is the best pizza they've ever had.
And it's located in
Montgomery, yeah.
Montgomery, okay.
But it was, whenever Mike and I, it was an adventure. We had an adventure getting our tickets because we had cash and Mike didn't have his phone with him, so we didn't have a cell phone device. They almost didn't let us in because, they do not sell physical tickets or accept cash.
Thank you, friend. Thank you so much.
So, I guess that's a COVID.
How was Garrett Coliseum's layout for basketball? You think that affected Charles Henderson?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a pretty good setup. When I first got there, I said, "Gosh, what is this?" Because the seats go sort of straight up, but we were looking down on the court, and it looked good. Did you think?
Yeah. Now
you couldn't go to the game and buy a ticket at the actual gate.
I could not understand it.
Here's what we had to do. One guy that was working there, he used his cell phone and his credit card to buy us tickets, and then we had to pay him in cash to reimburse him for doing that. And he just said, "Go in," but
it doesn't sound real right. But
you know me about where I stand on some of these COVID protocols. But the one that here's the rationale for this is the tickets are dangerous. Like the virus is going to get on the ticket, and you're going to.
Yeah, but that got proven a long time ago that surfaces don't cause COVID.
I know it. So my question is, why can't Why cannot you not sell a ticket, even if it's like one of these little tickets they used to hand out at the movie theater?
Yeah.
Surely they didn't make you wear a mask in there, did they?
No, but a lot of people were, though. A lot of people were wearing masks.
I'd say it's about 25% were wearing masks.
I don't know. It might have been me more.
The wine festival we're going to this weekend, they have no mask policy at Alice Beach. That got taken away this week. So I feel like Omicron is come and gone down here.
It's funny. I mean, there are some places where they've dropped all of the restrictions, and then there are some places that are doing them as religiously as ever.
That rep I had in the car from Tuscany, Italy, he'd been in Vegas, hitting several restaurants for like the last 10 days, and he told me he had a buddy or somebody he knew that was a chef or an owner at different Italian restaurants in Vegas, and he said that everywhere he goes is comped.
Oh,
you
really?
can only imagine what that guy's been up to for the last 10 days.
Yeah, no question.
Well, you're down there where it's just like not literally, but it seems like night and day compared to, say, New York or California. Bill Maher, the guy that has the HBO show.
Yeah.
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher, he's kind of coming closer to my side now, and he's normally liberal, but he came out and he said that we need to drop some of like the mask requirements now, especially for school kids. But he said, I have been to Florida several times, and he says, I just still cannot get over how it's a completely different world in Florida to California and New York.
I wanted to mention...
Yeah. Well, we've all gotten COVID, though, too.
Yeah.
Well, they've got it in New York and California, too, so that's just... do it. We're in the mask.
The New Orleans Saints hired Alabama's offensive line coach Doug Marrone, but this is interesting. The Saints also hired Cody Burns. You remember the former Auburn player and coach under Malzahn. So Cody Burns is now in college coaching. Also, Auburn beat Ole Miss in basketball last night by 13 at Auburn Arena.
The Brantley Bulldogs are victorious again. They beat Lochapoka 62-52, and Brantley is heading to Birmingham for the Final Four. So congratulations.
I got all the scores from yesterday. If you need them, just let me know.
We'll go ahead and give them to us.
Did Appalachian State win in basketball?
Oh, yeah, they won at Arlington by like 20.
Oh.
So
we're fighting for a second.
McMillan beat Furman last night. He's got 20 wins now at Stanford, so Bucky McMillan is
boy, isn't that unreal? Bucky McMillan. Yeah.
Here's the games from yesterday. 4A girls. New Hope beat Hanley of Roanoke 70-62. Class 4A boys, Jacksonville 83, Hanley 66. Jacksonville got to play in their home arena at Jacksonville State University, so congratulations to them. Northwest Regional, Wallace State, Hansville, Lee of Huntsville 44, Pleasant Grove 43. What a game. And the girls. Boys, another great game. 5A boys, Lee of Huntsville 55, Mae Jemison 51. Class 4A girls, Dessler 46, Good Hope 38. Where's Dessler, Dad? And where's
Dessler of Tuscumbia.
Where's Good Hope?
Huh? Good Hope
Where's
is located right over the mountain, home of former New York Giant tight end.
That's right, Walter Cross.
What?
I mean, or not Walter Cross. Howard
Yeah, that's
Cross.
right. That's right.
All right, Class 4A boys.
Let's see, we got a call coming in. It must be
Will, maybe.
Will. Let's see.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Well, I'm sorry we whipped y'all.
I know you sure did. You sent us back home, man.
Yeah, Will Matthews won a dozen Thomas's donuts on a $14 value. He won
And
yesterday.
you know, I told y'all it was going to happen, and you didn't believe me.
Well, I tell you what.
They pumped the fans. They claimed that guy had been playing in those other two games when they got beat by 20 points. They said that guy played against them. That's what they said.
Well, I don't
Right.
he's been hurt.
I didn't. I looked around and y'all had a big.
Apparently, he might have just had hurt feelings.
Well, he might have played against Charles Henderson and then got hurt and missed some other games and then came back.
Well, the star of the game, and I'm looking at him in the Dothan Eagle this morning. He was a good-looking kid, big, strong kid. Led him to victory.
Is that Carmelo?
Yeah.
No, Bob. His last name is Boken.
Yeah, Carmelo's the football player, and he didn't play against Troy the first two games.
Okay, Carmelo didn't. Okay.
He got hurt during the year of football and had to have some surgery.
Well.
They got him. How many points did he have?
He was the MVP of the tournament. No, I'm talking about this Boken guy.
Here he is,
number
right
43.
here. Yeah,
What's
you're
his
right.
name in the cut line? Read his name in the
Yeah.
cut line.
Here's the rest of the scores. 4A boys, Haleyville 55, Brooks 54. Class 1A girls, Marion County 60, South Lamar 48. Class 1A boys, Covenant Christian 51, R.A. Hubbard 22. Games at Garrett Coliseum in Montgomery, Charleston, Lady girls beat Talladega 39-29. 5A boys, Carroll Ozark 70, Charles Henderson 67. 2A girls, Lynette 43, GW Long 35. 2A boys final, Lynette 60, GW Long 52. Class 1A girls final, Locha Pocha 37, Georgiana 32. Class 1A boys, Brantley 62, Locha Poca 52. And then Class 1A girls final, University Charter School of Livingston 45, Linden 44.
Yeah.
The guy.
Also 1A boys at Toggerville beat Keith 63-51.
The guy I've been talking about for Ozark that I thought was their best player, his name is Bryson Dawkins.
Dawkins, yeah.
He was the MVP of the
And
tournament.
this other guy that was real good was Jordan Killings. He was the other. There were three guys that really were good.
They had one little guard that could hit the three-pointer. He did not look like a basketball player at all. He looked like he was about 5'7". He was chunky.
And he made all tournament.
He looked like the nerd in the classroom that everybody would make fun of. And
Will, no question about it. Carroll deserved to win it. They outplayed Charles Simpson, and Charles Simpson has a very, very good basketball team. But let me tell you, that was a good Carroll High team that beat them.
This is the first time Carroll High has ever been in the final.
All right, let me tell you this. I mentioned that yesterday.
Dad said that yesterday. I was shocked. I thought Skinner probably would have had a team that went to the Final Four.
But let me tell you, back in those days, you had a tournament of a district tournament, and you would have 30 teams in it.
Yeah, you had. I don't think they had a Final Four back then.
Yeah, that's right. And then at one time, the runner-up would go, and back when Troy went to the Final Four in Birmingham, they had they were runner-up. The runner-up would go too. You know, that's what I was reading here.
Let me see that. Let's see, get some.
So it's, I know y'all are proud. Are you gonna go up for the game, Will?
I've got court. I'd love to.
You know, I wonder if Coach was at the game. Skinner, was he there? You think?
Now he told me he quit going. You know, just to. He's 84 years old now.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't get out that much. You know, but he now back then in those days, Mike, and you remember it. You had to play Mobile schools.
Oh yeah.
You had to play Montgomery schools. Then you had to play Dothan Enterprise and Northview.
Yeah.
You know, it was tough. Back then, Ozark had a tough go.
And want to mention
It's a lot easier now.
that Carroll High is going to that Enterprise is going to the Final Four. That's awfully good to have Ozark and Enterprise and Brantley all going to the Final Four in Birmingham.
All right, here's some more info. Good, John Johnson from the Dothan Eagle always does a great job. He's their sports editor, and he covered this Carroll-Troy game. This guy Bryson Dawkins, had 24 points in the game.
And he was at number 21, wasn't he?
No, he's number 23.
Oh, 23, okay.
And then he's the guy that hit the 2 free throws at the end of the game that iced the game. But then the other guy, number 21, was named Raquel Reed. He had 23 points, and listen to this, he connected on 5 of 7 shots from the three-point line.
Oh, yeah,
Then this other little guard I talked about that doesn't look like a basketball player, no disrespect, he just doesn't look like a basketball player. He hit some guy named Coleman, he hit 3 3-pointers. So you can see that Ozark does not beat Troy unless they are red hot from the three-point. I mean, 5 3-pointers, 5 of 7 3-pointers. That's
as a team, how many they have?
These two guys had 8,
10.
so I know they had at least 8. And then I know that 23, I remember him hitting 1, so they had at least 9 3-pointers.
Yeah. They were very good and very well coached. I thought they did a good job, Will. You passed the word that today is be kind to Charles Simpson High School because they lost a thriller in that ball game. Played at
to get beat, they really needed Ozark to shoot lights out. Right. Really, is what they did.
And Charles Simpson had the height advantage and everything, but those guys just played hard the whole ball game.
I will say that they were some of those 3-pointers. They were wide open. They were easy, not contested 3-pointers. But to their credit, they hit them.
So Ozark and Enterprise going to the Final Four. We'll have a traffic jam up here in Troy. Right there at the junction. And we're gonna be selling T-shirts, Carroll High T-shirts and Enterprise T-shirts. Will Matthews, one of the proud members of teams at Carroll High School for years, and
well, this is the first time Ozark's gone to the Final Four. That's right. A big deal.
That's right. And
I've heard from my wife was a school teacher. She couldn't go. She had to stay and teach school, but they were watching on the internet. So there wasn't much learning going on. She said everybody was just at Charles Henderson was just
and Cecil Skinner. I know
depressed. The players after the game were crying. The players played hard.
Yeah, no question.
And they had a fantastic season. So.
Win by 20 and twice, and you go out against this team and say, well, God, what do we got to do this time? And hey. Carroll was
they just ran into it's like when Alabama ran into Providence in the tournament with Rick Pitino's team, and they couldn't miss.
They had that little guard named.
It's kind of like Ozark yesterday.
Yeah.
Will, what's your opinion on all this Mickelson stuff going on? I mean, he's taking a beat out the media. Looks like those Saudi Golf League that was going to happen looks like it might fold now, but Mickelson fought Dustin Johnson and DeChambeau and some other great players were going to go with him. And at one time, there's 20 guys that were going to leave the PGA Tour to go play on this tour in Saudi Arabia. But now Mickelson, who was like the Arnold Palmer of his generation in golf, is now
they throw him
now. But basically, he's probably suspended from the PGA Tour for we don't know how long, even though they're not announcing it. Of course, he's my favorite player of all time. I mean, what he said was not absolutely horrible, in my opinion. It was actually kind of facts. But, I guess when you throw the PGA Tour under the bus and everybody thinks now that Mickelson just plays for money, which is where, why any great golfer at 51 would probably still play, is just to make a lot of money. It's a bad situation.
Yeah, I think Phil's got like 6 majors. If he hadn't had to come along when Tiger Woods came along, he'd probably have 15.
Yeah.
But you always say the U.S. Amateur is a major. How many of those did he win? 3?
He won 1.
Oh,
yeah, he
Nicholson
won
only won 1 in college?
Yeah.
That's
Tiger
hard to
won
believe.
3. Yeah.
I know, but he didn't
Tiger
play in
won
college.
3.
But he didn't play in college back when Woods was there. I wonder who beat him the other 2 times.
I don't know. I know he won. Well, he turned pro pretty early too.
No, Nicholson played. Actually, won a tournament when he was at Arizona State on the PGA Tour. When he was still actually a player at Arizona State.
Yeah, you're correct. He won as an amateur at Tucson.
He won I didn't know that.
Well, Phil, like you're right, he went against the powers that be, and they shot him down and have thrown him under the bus.
Yeah, poor Phil. Yeah, Phil is messed up.
Oh, really? I hate that because he was my favorite. He and Bubba are my favorite, and both of them all have a different opinion of things.
If you say something against the powers that be, they'll come after you. Like, I mean, you look at Joe Rogan that has the big podcast. They tried to shut him down for just because he did 2 interviews. They said he shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was wanting to know: is that a wig you're wearing?
No. I need to go see Raymond and get this wig cut.
Hey, so you ladies out there that have been writing in just gobs and gobs of letters wanting to know if that was a real wig that Rice had on. If it was, they wanted to get one.
I put a hat on my wig that you gave me, my Titleist golf hat to the basketball. I guess I was on TV because I was sitting in Mike's seats.
We're having fun talking about
Right
Oak
behind
Manor and Ozark.
Texas Arlington bench.
And
I had Jack and Maggie with me, and you know why they like to go is they like to dance when they play the music in the timeouts, and then sometimes the cameras will zero in on people that are dancing.
Did they do it this time?
Yeah, Maggie gets on TV, the big screen all the time.
She was real good.
She's famous for dancing at Troy University basketball games.
That's right, and they did put her on the air and everything. I tell you what, she is good. She is a good dancer.
Well, I like it that she has the confidence and the personality to do it. And
well, I reckon we need to make today Bill Rice Day because his wife was named Teacher of the Year, and does that mean she gets 5 days off free?
I wish. She got some flowers, and then she got a supplement. They said
that was what was important.
Well, they said that at the school board meetings, and then we were happy to be able to give y'all a little supplement. And my eyes just perked up. Oh, we got to have some extra money. But Carrie later said that's for money that you can spend in your classroom.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Books or
books. Now she's an English teacher. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard her say "A2 Brute"?
No, but I say it all the time.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the only line I remember in Shakespeare.
Bruto.
No, I say "A2 Brute," and that was when he was getting stabbed. Isn't that right?
Yeah, by one of his trusted people. And people use it all the time. Now when you something that you don't think would happen, that somebody wouldn't join in against you. Like probably Phil Mickelson is probably saying that right now about some of his peers on the PGA tournament.
Yeah.
Mike, do you know what day Julius Caesar was murdered?
No. I'd like to know, though.
March 15th.
Which is called what?
The Ides of March.
Are you serious?
The Ides of March. Everybody knows that.
March 15th.
When Bastille Day was? When they stormed the prison in Paris in France in the French Revolution?
I want to say July the 5th.
Be close. July the 14th. I know that because my late father was born on Bastille's Day.
I knew it was in July. It wasn't July 4th, but I knew it was in July.
I just took my last sip of Milo tea. Can we go on break?
Yes, we can. We'll be back at the 7:50 break. We'll be right back with more of Today in LA.
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako robotic arm-assisted surgery system is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
Got $1? Get a new car. Got $1? Get a new truck. Just $1 gets you into a new truck or car during Dollar Days. New Ram, new Jeep, new Dodge, and Chryslers. All you need is $1 down. PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio, just off the square in Troy.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Right here, right now. Got $1? Yeah. Get a used car, truck, van, SUV, you name it. That's right. Just $1 gets you a pre-owned vehicle during Dollar Days. All you need is $1 down. PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
All I got to say is $1 down, and you can ride off in a brand new pickup truck from Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks in Troy. Great deal. $1 down, you can drive off the best vehicle they've got in stock, ready and for you to pick up. And they've got great cars. They've got a lot of them, and they'll beat anybody's deal. Nobody will beat a Premier deal. Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram truck in Troy, Alabama. And also my friends at the Withington Group, Johnny Withington, one of my favorite people on this earth. Johnny Withington owns the Withington Group and has been an insurer for a long time here in Troy and Pike County and other counties around us. You know a little bit about Oakview Manor, Will. That school's been there. That place has been there a while, hasn't it?
Yep.
Because Will
At least 40 years, probably.
Will Matthews calling us from, are you in Ozark or are you in Dothan?
I'm actually in Dothan. I'm fixing to go to court here in Dothan. I'm in the parking lot next to the courthouse.
Okay.
Here's the Charles Simpson leading scorers in yesterday's game. It was Shorts, number 3, had 20 points.
Yeah, he's
a player.
Really is.
Jaden Spearman had 16 and Cody Youngblood had 12. So
and he was
I don't know how many of
shooter,
those guys come back or not, but they played their hearts out. And then Coach Faison said, here's his quote, it just seemed like every time they needed to make a play, they made it, talking about Ozark. I give them credit. Defensively, we didn't execute our assignments. I think he's probably right there because Ozark hit the shots, but some of those shots they didn't have a hand in their face.
You know, you could feel throughout the game that Charles Simpson would eventually take the lead and hold the lead, but Carroll wouldn't let them do it.
It was tied going into the fourth quarter. Yeah. It was then Ozark pushed it out to an 8-point lead in the fourth quarter early, but Charles Simpson, they found a way to get it down to 1. That's what I liked about Charles Simpson is they showed some grit and they didn't quit. And
they're a classy bunch. They're classy.
Really, sometimes in sports you're just gonna. It's not going to be your day.
And a good Carroll High School team won it, and they're heading to the Final Four. And we're proud of the Charles Simpson's efforts. And
great season.
You're exactly right. And Sports was named to the All-Tournament team, and rightfully so. He's a fine guard. He's a penetrating guard.
I like that. Yeah.
You're right. And he's
interesting news here. we've been talking about this for months now. Marshall is having to sue Conference USA to push up the departure for the Sun Belt. So Marshall, Old Dominion, and Southern Miss are trying to leave in July to go and play in the Sun Belt Conference next year, which definitely would affect Troy.
Yeah, sure would.
But Conference USA, I guess it's going to go to court. They're trying to force these teams to stay another year. Interesting to see how this is going to play out.
Oh, yeah. They might not have a conference unless they can make these teams play. So I see why they're doing that. And you know what? I bet they got Will's our lawyer. I bet they have legal precedent or grounds to make them stay for this extra year.
I'm sure they've got a contract. They'd have to pay them a bunch of money or something.
Wait a minute.
Conference USA released their 2022 football schedule with Marshall, Old Dominion, and Southern Miss on their schedules to play the rest of their remaining teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, what happens to the Jacksonville States and people like that? When do they start playing in the league?
Not until 2023.
25. I thought it was 25, Mike.
I thought it was 2023, but maybe the 1AA's have a little bit longer since they're making the move up. Like James Madison's making the move up to the Sun Belt, and Jack State's making the move up to.
Let me mention that on the Charles Simpson girls, we need to mention one other girl that played really well. Michaela Hobdy was the MVP. She had 16 points yesterday.
Yeah, good player.
Troy's 39. But Madison Owsley also made the all-tournament team, and she had 14 points, so she had a real strong game too.
Yeah. And
so really, two players. Let's do it. 16 plus 14 is 30 points. Two players had 30 of Charles Simpson's 39 points.
And the Charles Simpson girls are heading to the Final Four in Birmingham. So get ready, student body, and grab a seat in the bus and go up there and support this Charles Simpson team. And like Michael said earlier,
big news going on because Girl Scout cookies are out. They're ranking the 15 best Girl Scout cookies of all time.
Oh, I know the best one is the chocolate with coconut. I love that. I wish I had some of them. I could eat a box of them.
The Thin Mints is going to be number one.
Oh, no.
Girl Scout S'mores is number 15. Toffee Tasket. I've never even heard of Toffee Tasket Girl Scout cookie. Number 13 is Caramel Chocolate Chip. Number 12 is the Peanut Butter Sandwiches. Number 11 is the Lemonade. I don't know if I've ever had one of those either.
Me either.
Number 10 is the Living Up. Number 9, which I've never liked, is the Tagalongs. Did y'all like those with the peanut butter and chocolate?
No, I don't know.
Nope.
Number 8, Peanut Butter Patties. This just came out. I saw my mother-in-law brought this down. They look amazing. They're called Adventurables. It's a brownie-inspired cookie with caramel and a hint of sea salt. Number 6, a Toshe. Number 5, a Do-si-do.
Yes.
And then number 4, shortbread. Number 3,
Hello.
Trifles, I guess. And then Thin Mints, which I hate.
Hello.
And then number one, Dad, we have the number one, Samoa.
Okay, with the coconut?
Yeah, top Girl Scout.
I knew.
And you said Thin Mints was number 2?
Yeah.
Exactly right.
All right. I like the Thin Mints and the shortbread. So that's the 2 and.
Yeah,
Hello.
I'm thinking I got hosed down here because I saw
I'm looking at you.
She said that she paid $4 in Mountain Brook, and I paid $5 at the beach for a box of Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
Well, it's different markets. It's like, my dad used to be in the gas business, and people would always wonder, say, why is the gas price 20 cents higher in one town compared to another town? It's just different markets.
Mike, should we go ahead and fill our tanks up right now? What did you pay this morning?
$3.34.
$3.34. That's but it's going to be $4 before you know it. So I
$6
recommend everybody.
Why? Just because of Russia stuff?
Yeah.
I really believe so.
Yeah.
If you have an
precaution,
opportunity, you need to fill up at least.
I missed this. Are they at war now?
Well,
Yes.
that's what they're calling it an invasion, but I don't know that there's been any
There's been
people
shots
killed or
fired.
shots fired. So far, it's a bloodless invasion.
But
dozens. I'm reading Fox News live updates. Dozens reported dead after Russia declares war, launches full-scale attack on Ukraine.
Yeah, there's people dying, and that's awfully sad. And,
I'm just always skeptical of the press and our government officials, because they've told me some things that like in past wars and invasions America's been involved in that turned out to not be true. So I'm not saying that's not true, but I'm just always.
I say it is true, and I think there's people. They're body bags now, and that's what's so sad. A lot of people are going to die now. Russians, I would think that their people would feel the same way if they start bringing home body bags, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the national coverage is going to make a huge difference, as far as what the government decides to do. I'm sure now that it's a reality.
Yeah. Well, I think there has been an effort to vilify Russia for years. Russia. Go back to Trump, and then they went after Trump his whole 8 years because he was allegedly put in the office by the Russians, and there's no evidence that Russia was conspiring to. They say that Russia rigged the U.S. election. So when I hear that, and I say, well, that insults my intelligence.
Yeah. A lot of people say that.
So what is causing this war? I don't know, Russ. What is causing Russia to invade Ukraine? Land?
Well, Ukraine has gone back and forth. It's not like it's been a country for hundreds of years. It has been a part of many countries, and it was once for a long, long, long time part of Russia. But I guess to answer your question, land, and Russia would say that these people actually are Russians and they want to be a part of our country.
And then a lot of the thing is the word about them joining the
NATO,
and that it is a strategic. It is a strategic area.
Russia feels like after they disbanded the Soviet Union, they were told that America would quit getting these countries to join NATO and surround them.
Yeah.
But that happened, and so it's kind of like in the Mideast. You just got all these military bases that are, and maybe Putin said, that they're coming after us, and at some point we got to fight back, literally, I guess. But
you would think a guy like Putin, who arguably, listen to this, arguably the richest man in the world. Have you ever heard that?
Mm-hmm.
Putin is I heard he's worth $600 million.
Billion,
yeah, $600 billion. I've heard that figure thrown out. Why in the world would he want to go out and put all of the things that he's been able to make himself so wealthy and throw it all away?
I think he must think
in a conflict like this.
I think he must think he can do it.
Yeah.
He must think they have to do it. And he must think that of America, as poor as it is, and printing all this money, that America is not going to risk troops to fight a war in the Ukraine. So that's my guess, is what his calculation
says Vladimir Putin's worth $200 million.
200 million.
200
billion. Well, I was a little bit off.
What he's worth? How would you know what he's worth? That's a guess.
That's what the articles I'm reading right now says 200 billion.
How about Bill Gates? How much is Bill Gates worth?
I don't know. Bill Gates gets a certain amount back. I don't know if he takes as much as he used to get or something. It's like some weird thing he's got going on.
Bill Gates has put his money in every research hospital and vaccine promotion hospital and school and organization in the world. He is so. If you start reading about all this vaccine push, Bill Gates' money is behind all.
We're gonna have fun with this right here.
Bill Gates is 130 billion. He's worth. Bezos, the guy that owns Amazon, is 176 billion. Elon Musk is the richest of them all, 225 billion.
Who is he?
Tesla. He's also doing the space programs.
Oh yeah. Okay,
this is based on stock holdings which can change in a hurry. Like Zuckerberg for Facebook is on that list too, but I think about 2 weeks ago, for some reason, I don't know why, the Facebook stock
If you look at it,
went
the
way
ruler,
down, and he lost. They say he lost
the
$20
ruler
billion
of Russia,
in 2 days.
The ruler of Russia is worth over $200 billion, and why in the world is like you said, unless he's just playing with it, it's evidently it looks like a game to him a little bit, you know.
I think it's
Elon Musk is number one at $225 billion. After that,
did they ever bring up Putin? What does he say about Putin, Mike?
I mean, obviously he should be number two. It says Jeff Bezos is number two though on the one I'm looking at. He's worth $178 billion. After that is Bernard Arnault, Paris, France, for $160 billion. CEO and chair of LVMH. And then after that, Bill Gates, Microsoft. Number 5 richest person in the world is Larry Page of California, co-founder and board member of Alphabet, GOOG, is worth $120 billion.
That's Google.
Out of California.
Yeah, that's right.
They
Google,
call these
right.
stocks
Right.
the FANGs. Is the acronym for the big tech stocks that made all these billionaires. That's FANG stands for Facebook.
Yeah.
Alphabet, which is Google. N, which I think is Netflix. Maybe no.
Number 6 is the great Warren Buffett at 91 years old from Nebraska. He's Berkshire Hathaway. It's worth $116 billion.
$116 billion.
Sergey Brin, 48, out of California, Google as well. It's worth $115 billion. Co-founder and board member. So there's 2 Google guys worth over $100 billion. Steve Ballmer owns the Los Angeles Clippers. Microsoft owner stake. I guess he's been involved in a bunch of other stuff as well. It's worth $106 billion. And then after that, Larry Ellison, Hawaii, is his residence chair and CTO of Oracle. It's worth right under $100 billion. And then after that, number 10 is a guy named Mukesh Ambani out of India. Reliance Industries is worth $90 billion.
Mike, how much was Trump worth? Or what is he worth?
He's not in their league.
Does he have it?
He's not in their league, yeah. I mean,
But
Trump, I think Trump's like around 8 or 9 billion, maybe, or maybe.
I don't think Trump. It's debatable whether Trump's really a billionaire. That he's worth $1 billion.
Well, ask it. See what it'll say.
You don't know.
I can pull it up very easily.
We're nosing around this morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Trump, according to Forbes, is worth $3.1 billion.
Yeah, bless his heart. Bless his heart. He's just $3.1 billion.
Well, it's all in hotels and resorts, and so as long as those hotels and resorts cater to high-end rich people. Here's what you hear about the 1%. That's the people that are the last 15 years. Their net worth has just gone straight up to Mars. But these people during the pandemic, during these 2 years, their net worth has continued to go up and up and up. Now you look at the bottom 50 and 60%, they're struggling. So a lot of people say this can't hold when you've got the 1% that own 80% of the wealth in the world, which is about what you, and then the bottom 90% own about 20% of the wealth in the world. The income disparity between the super rich and the not super rich is just more pronounced than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm. And it tickles me a little bit, to find out, some of this wealth is.
Well, I mean, you can't imagine this kind of wealth. I mean, $200 billion. I mean,
you're right, but
I mean, we talk about paying off these. You say, how can you pay off a $16 million contract for a coach? Well, for some people, they can just write a check and it'll be like you paying $10 for a meal at.
Mike, look up the Dallas Cowboys owner. See how much he's worth.
Jerry Jones.
Yeah, Jerry Jones.
Well, his franchise is the most valuable sports franchise in America.
And see, I know
the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. What do you think, Mike?
That's worth $1 billion.
Man, Wow, 10.2 billion. I didn't know he was that rich.
So yeah, I knew he was pretty rich. $10.7 billion is a lot of money.
Yeah, Jerry Jones is 10.2 billion. He's now 79 years old.
Yeah, you know, I like him. I like the way he carries himself and everything. You know, he doesn't. You know, he's got good traits. I think. You know, I like him.
Robert Kraft of the Patriots is worth 8.3 billion.
That's Kraft cheese. Is that right?
I want to say he's Gillette. I think he owns.
Oh, is that
Gillette.
okay? All right, Gillette. Okay.
It's Gillette Stadium. Stan Kroenke, the owner of the Rams, is worth 2.7 billion. Daniel Snyder, the owner of the Redskins, is worth 4 billion.
Yeah, and
that's the only people that can buy these sports franchises.
Oh, yeah.
But it's an ego thing for them, and they want to own I think the wealthiest sports franchise in the world is actually a European soccer team.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
most all of these teams are worth at least $1 billion. Even the worst program.
To buy even the worst sports team would probably cost you, I don't know. I mean, $1 billion probably.
That's our favorite person, Wiley Sanders truck lines this morning.
Interesting, we'll be able to see Michael Jordan. You know, Michael Jordan's now a billionaire. Michael Jordan's worth 1.6 billion.
Boy, he's smart. He's
the main stockholder of the Charlotte basketball team, right? The owner.
Yeah, he's the owner. Yeah.
So if he got in trouble, he would just sell his basketball team.
It's all endorsements though over the years for Jordan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, this net worth though, that they are calculating your stock primarily, and as we've just talked about, anybody that owns a professional sports franchise can sell it tomorrow for $1 billion.
I would almost say that there are 2 or 3 former NBA players, are billionaires. You know,
I don't know about that. Tiger Woods is worth $800 million.
He's earned a lot more money than probably Michael Jordan, but he doesn't own a professional sports franchise.
Our famous nose guard,
I've always heard Magic Johnson's real wealthy. He owns a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
He
Magic Johnson.
He owns a share. There's a lot of stockholders in the L.A. Dodgers, but Magic Johnson owns a percentage of the Los Angeles Dodgers baseball team.
That's what I thought. And
I think Magic is a really good businessman.
Yeah. And
Magic Johnson, they said, is worth $600 million. So he's right below. Well, I mean, he's pretty far behind Jordan.
Doing pretty well. He's done pretty well for himself, though, and he carries himself. He carries himself very well.
At one time, I know Johnson owned like 150 McDonald's. I know he owned 2 of them in Birmingham.
Oh, really?
Magic Johnson did.
Yeah.
They Birmingham. I was watching the news one night, and Magic Johnson was actually in the drive-through window, giving out food one day.
Yeah.
In a drive-through.
Oh boy, wouldn't that have been something?
You know, he also, this is 15 years ago, he went heavy into movie theaters, and especially in the inner city, so the inner city people could have a good movie theater to go to, which is a good venture.
You know,
but I bet he probably regrets going heavy into movie theaters these days.
A share of Birkenstock, the one share, how much would it be?
I don't know.
Be worth, Mike?
Birkenstock? Or
yeah. Why would it be Hathaway?
Buffett's firm.
Buffett's firm.
Hathaway.
What I'm saying, you can buy a share, but how much would it cost?
$150,000, $100,000.
I don't know if he'll be able to come up with that or not, but I found that interesting.
You know, sometimes you hear about this phrase, the deep state, that means that we're kind of ruled by these people behind the curtain that we don't know we're ruled by. And a lot of people will say, no way. I say, maybe so. But if these people in the deep state, I think there a lot of them are in this billionaire club.
Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, they have real power.
Well, let me ask you this.
It says Nick Saban's net worth is $60 million.
$60 million. The head coach, football coach at Alabama.
But he's made over $100 million as a coach.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. How much you think Bear Bryant made in his career?
Oh
Coach,
gosh,
right?
20,000 probably. Yeah.
I think his last, I think he was getting paid $100,000 when he retired as the football coach. He was paid $1 less than he was always paid $1 less than the president of the university.
How did Paul Bryant Jr. was Bryant a real good businessman and bought a lot of land and property? Because Paul Bryant Jr. is a multi-millionaire.
I tell you, you're exactly right. He's been
Paul Bryant Jr.
So how did that happen? Did that happen because of his daddy's name?
That couldn't have hurt.
It had a lot to do with it.
I think Paul Bryant Jr. is a great, astute businessman, and he got into first good deal he did. He owned the Green Track, the dog track in Greene County in its heyday. Then he bought land, and then he's in banking now.
Bank, that Bryant Bank is his bank,
But Coach Bryant he listened to his son on business manners.
Paul was making $450,000 a year.
What you mean? What?
$450,000.
I don't think it was.
82. Where are you getting that information? That's pretty good information.
Google it.
400.
I don't know. I don't think there was any coaches getting 400.
That he was worth or making.
He was the highest paid coach.
Yeah, 400. Yeah.
That might have been endorsements and everything.
Yeah, that's right. Paying him almost $500,000.
Likeness is legendary. If they held the rights to Bryant's likeness, Paul Bear Bryant's likeness, no telling how many millions of dollars that made the family.
Yeah.
Well, who got him in?
Imagine all the stuff that's sold with his face on it.
Yeah.
Well, that's where Bill Battle made his money. Is he came to Coach Bryant came to him and said, let's license my image, or let's license the University of Alabama's image, and then Bill Battle just took it to a completely different level. But you're right.
Bill Battle is a
But Steve said Coach Bryant made $450,000 his last year, which might be true because he probably made $350,000.
His salary was $104,000.
There you go.
Base salary when his last season in Alabama was $104,000 a year.
So now
Bill Battle, Alabama's former athletic director, former head coach of Tennessee, is worth $18 million.
Oh boy, he's done well, hasn't he?
One of the nicest, classiest guys you ever want to meet.
This right here reads out. Here it is right here. You can read it out. Bryant's $450,000 tops U.S. coaches.
Yeah, let's say Paul Bear Bryant.
That was back when Coach Bryant last year.
It's getting the base salary and benefits totaling $450,000 yearly.
A lot of potato chips and a lot of Coca-Cola.
Bryant earns an estimated $104,000 base salary and receives about $300,000 in television and radio benefits. So, so anyway, Coach Bryant was making $104,000 in salary.
Yeah.
And Nick Saban is now making what, $8 million in salary?
Exactly right.
Yeah. The richest guy in the state of Alabama lives in Abbeville. He's almost a billionaire. Jimmy Raines worth $950 million.
Oh, I did not realize that. I knew he was. That's a lot of money.
Let's tell them what we on our ride around when we got back to Troy. Mike and I kept doing a ride around, and we rode by Rex Lumber.
Yeah, boy, that is Mike. Have you ever ridden back there and seen that?
Man, I have not. I haven't been to Troy in a while.
But when next time you come to Troy, you will not believe how huge that facility is.
It's just stacked trees and logs, and then they make the lumber right there on the spot, and so it's stacks of just ready to go lumber.
Yeah, it's unusual.
It is massive, and then I hear that.
In 1957, Coach Bryant landed a 10-year contract. He paid $17,500 a year.
Steve's doing great research for us.
Oh, let's hear this.
My wife works for a family. The Stevens family that owns Alice Beach down here, of course, they're EBSCO out of Birmingham. Now, EBSCO, as a family, is worth $4 billion.
I knew.
And they're out of Birmingham, Alabama.
How about the Drummonds? Tell me about the Drummonds. Coal company.
Rain is second if it comes to that. He's $950 million. The Harvards out of Birmingham are a legendary wealthy family as well.
Yeah.
They're third.
And the Drummonds, where the Drummonds come in, Mike?
John O'Neill, is fourth among Alabama State's wealthiest people. Chief Operating Officer of St. Vincent's Health System.
What do you think?
He's making $10 million a year now. So Coach Bryant made $100,000. So Nick Saban is making what is that? 100 times more.
When Alabama hired Bear Bryant as the head coach in 1957, landing the man that they thought was the best coach in the nation, they handed him a 10-year contract that was thought to have paid him $17,500 per year. With inflation, you might think that would look like a little better than today's numbers.
You talk about inflation. Inflation is not being calculated correctly. We're going through massive inflation right now that everybody admits, but I maintain that this inflation was happening years ago. It's just the way they calculate inflation has kept it lower than it. They changed the way that the CPI calculates it. But you can just look at that. I mean, Coach Bryant was making $100,000, and Nick Saban's making $10 million. $100,000 was not worth $10 million.
We're going to take a short break. This show is brought to you by A1 Services. Whether it's hot or cold, Terry will be there for you.
You can also look at assistant coaches list.
Got $1? Get a new car. Got $1? Get a new truck. Just $1 gets you into a new truck or car during Dollar Days. New Ram, new Jeep, new Dodge, and Chryslers. All you need is $1 down. PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Shipping Wars is back and bigger than ever.
More work, more money.
These shippers have a long road ahead. Who will come out on top?
If we can get it there on time, we'll make some good money.
Shipping Wars. New episodes Tuesdays at 10. Only on A&E.
In the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle? We've got what you're looking for.
So come see us at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Troy, and you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC.
At Cost Plus 10%, we offer your favorite brands at the best price. At Piggly Wiggly, we keep it simple. We price our products at cost, then add 10% at checkout. We carry all your favorite name brand foods, and we accept manufacturer coupons. Find us on Facebook and see our weekly specials.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Right here, right now. Got $1? Yeah. Get a used car, truck, van, SUV, you name it. That's right. Just $1 gets you a pre-owned vehicle during Dollar Days. All you need is $1 down. PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Back to our show brought to you by Oakview Manor Health Care Center in Ozark, and also my good friends at Wise Office Supply in Troy for office equipment, office furniture. Wise Office Supply in Troy,
talk about Michael. You might be
Russia has invaded Ukraine from the east, north, and the south. It looks like a lot of damage, a lot of explosions are going on.
Kiev, I've always heard, was one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and if they start bombing Kiev, that's going to be sad.
See how long this lasts. Apparently. All the national pundits say Putin wants to bring back the Soviet Union.
Yeah, he's wanting to get the countries back that they lost a few years back. You know.
That's been several years back.
Yeah,
how long has that been since Gorbachev? How long has that been?
That was when George Bush was president. You know, when they finally tore down the wall. That's when the Soviet Union collapsed like overnight. And I've read that. What used to be the Soviet Union is now 14 different republics. So there were 14 countries that were created.
Isn't it amazing that Russia
Ukraine was one of them?
Yeah, that Russia had to make this a wall that nobody could go into. You know, that was the biggest sign of a country that was must have been in hard times because.
Since Biden dropped the hammer on the Russian pipeline, reimposes sanctions he waived less than a year ago. So I guess gas prices will go up.
Well, that pipeline is a natural gas pipeline. That is how they heat homes in Europe. So the speculation is if they play hard, if they do this to Russia and their natural gas pipeline, that heating costs in Europe are going to double. I don't know what they are now, but that's how. So we're getting ready to come out of the winter, thank goodness. But next winter, let's say in America, a lot of people probably pay $500 a month to heat their house. What if it suddenly went to $1,000 a month?
Yeah.
Imagine what that would do to families.
Yeah, no question about it.
Especially coming off COVID.
Yeah.
Because everybody's been struggling already.
Of course, it's sad to see that just in a matter of overnight, that's how, of course they were there, but they most of all this penetration into the Ukraine has been overnight. So this is a powerful group of manpower.
I just think Putin must think that yes, he's going to catch all kind of grief, but in 2 weeks this will all be finished and no fighting, and we'll just kind of adjust to it.
But once you start killing people, and
anything can happen. That's right.
You're exactly right, and then that's
apparently
what
Putin likes to always ride his horses with his shirt off. I wonder if he'll start doing that again in Ukraine.
Well, let's think. You can't. It is terrifying because, like Mike said, you don't know what's going to happen once these dominoes start falling. I mean, did anybody think when this Archduke Ferdinand was assassinated in Europe that it would lead to World War I? That was the most grotesque war in history. And then World War I, if you follow history, what did World War I cause? It caused World War II. It just never really, it just stopped for like 25 years. But then Germany said, we're going to start it right back up because you have choked us so bad that we got no other choice. So really, you could say the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand led to World War I, which led to World War II, which killed 200 million people.
Yeah.
Boom.
All right, I got $1 bill. I'm going out to Premier this morning to go buy me a nice used car to drive away. I've got $1 bill. I would say, here, Jason, I want this vehicle right over here. I've been wanting it a long time. Go ahead and give me that bit. But all I got is $1. I got $1 down and ready to do business with you at Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Trucks right here in Troy. This show is brought to you by C Spire, the new owners of Troy Cable.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, if you want to travel this weekend, the weather down here has been gorgeous. 75 and sunny every day, and it's really
Are you gonna take the kids to the
spring?
Now, explain this lake we talk about all the time that makes it such a wonderful place to go.
Yeah, Western Lake flows into the Gulf of Mexico, and it's a part of Great Beach State Park. So it's just it actually goes all the way to Watercolor, which kind of borders on the seaside.
Yeah.
It's just a natural lake.
Yeah. But how deep would you say it was? About 3 to 4 feet deep.
It is that way when it's closer to the ocean or to the Gulf of Mexico, but parts of it are really deep. Great redfish fishing and speckled trout fishing, people tell me.
No
what is your favorite little beach down there? The beaches of 30A? Is it Watercolor? Or?
I mean, I'll be honest. Our favorite beach is Graydon. I mean, it's really nothing like it. Graydon Beach is only like about a mile, maybe top.
And it's nothing fancy.
Me too. I agree with Mark.
I mean, it's just pristine, the sand, and that's where the charter boats go out fishing. But there's some other areas down here that are pretty. Blue Mountain's real pretty, but the beaches of Blue Mountain and Santa Rosa and other places are really tiny. You don't have a whole lot of beach running. Graydon's got a really big, wide beach.
Let me say something. You're right.
I mean, where I grew up though, Sunnyside Beach and Tail End of Panama City Beach, nothing beats that either. I mean, it's pristine as you can get.
But you take this lake, and Mike actually has a pickup truck.
Kids to swim year round because you don't have to worry about red flag.
Yeah. And then of course you got your pickup truck, and tell me what you do. How do you set up? And how you
throw chairs and all our beach toys and floats, whatever we need in the back of the pickup truck, and we get in the truck and we on the beach in about a minute or two.
And you got one of those coolers too, don't you?
You got to go 4-wheel drive though on the beach. You can't have a 2-wheel drive.
Yeah, but it's a.
I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. I guess we got a lot to talk about with all that's going on in the world now.
Sure do. Hope you have enjoyed our show, and of course we're guessing at what's going to happen, just like you are. And we're not authorities, but we are people that will let you know how we feel about certain issues. You take care. We'll